What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And yeah, it's been quite a while since I've uploaded anything, but I'm back now, and hopefully I can get back on track to making some videos for y'all. And before we actually get into the what if, I want to thank y'all for getting me to 20,000 subscribers. So since my channel's been in the 18 to 19 range for about a year now, this means a lot to me. I want to thank y'all. Anyways, now we can begin the what if. Our story begins the night before the young boys turn 10 years old. Our two young heroes are watching a Pokemon battle on TV. While Ash is really enjoying how cool the fight looks, Red is more focused on the trainer's tactics during the battle. Ash declares to Red and himself that one day he will become a Pokemon master. However, Red tells Ash that he'll become one after his older brother becomes one. This gets Ash all worked up, and he grabs his Voltorb alarm clock, stating that he'll become the first and the best Pokemon master ever. As he is about to throw it like if it were a Pokeball, he gets interrupted by his mother, who tells him to get to bed as they got a long day tomorrow. Ash states that he's too excited that he won't be able to fall asleep, while Red is agreeing with his mother that they should go to sleep so they can wake up early tomorrow. Eventually the boys do fall asleep, and the next morning their alarm goes off. As you see, 4 years prior to this, Ash and Red were gonna attend a summer camp held by Professor Oak. Red, being a nice older brother, decided to let Ash be in charge of waking them up. However, Ash had smashed the alarm that night, causing them to miss the camp. So ever since then, Red's been in charge of waking them up. And yes, this is the camp that Go and Chloe attended that Ash ended up missing in the original timeline. So that morning, Ash and Red do end up waking up on time and arriving at Professor Oak's. When they get there, Gary says that he didn't think the loser twins were actually going to show up. This gets Ash worked up and begins to yell back at Gary. Professor Oak takes note of this, and because Gary's being kind of an ass, he allows the Ketchum twins to choose their starters first. Much like in the Origin special, Red chooses Charmander while Ash gets his first choice of Squirtle. This leaves Bulbasaur to be taken by Gary, and with no more starters to be given out, the other trainers just go home empty-handed. After they leave Professor Oak's lab, Dahlia and some other town folks are there to see him off. Through the encouragement of Dahlia and the other people there, Red and Ash decide to have a bit of a Pokemon battle. This is where Squirtle and Charmander's personalities are on full display. Ash's Squirtle is very cheerful as it loves to jump around whenever it gets sent out of its Pokeball, much like Ash's Totodile. But Squirtle's also very cocky as it stops listening to Ash midway through the fight. As for Red's Charmander, it's shown to be very affectionate towards Red and very proud of its own power. This battle comes to an end because, like I said, Squirtle stops listening to Ash. As Squirtle thinks it doesn't need to dodge any attacks to win this fight, making it get hit from scratches and embers over and over again. And despite having the type advantage, Squirtle loses this fight, and Red and Charmander are declared the winners. This leads everybody to praise Red, while Ash is only really shown pity. Everybody's telling Red how good he is, while they're only really telling Ash stuff like, "Oh, you'll get him next time, champ, don't worry about it." After our family hug, our twins leave Pallet Down and make their way down Route 1. On said route, they encounter a Pidgey. Red is quick to send out his Charmander and begin a fight. However, the Pidgey used Gust to stop Charmander from getting closer to it, and it flies away. Ash then makes a joke about how he'll be the first one to catch a Pokemon because Red couldn't catch a simple Pidgey. After a bit of traveling, they come across a Spearow, and Ash sends out his Squirtle. Once again, Squirtle gets a bit too cocky, causing Spearow to just fly away. This does bum both of them out as they fail to catch any Pokemon. A little later on, Red does manage to catch himself a Nidoran. However, Ash is unable to catch anything. They keep traveling down Route 1 when they encounter a Mankey. This time, Red tries to help Ash by coaching him on how he was able to do it. However, Ash is too stubborn and doesn't listen, causing Squirtle to get sent flying past some trees by a double kick. The Mankey then goes to scratch Ash's face before leaving, which causes Ash to yell out in pain. After Red calms Ash down and they treat his little scratches there, they go looking for Squirtle. They do eventually find it being held upside down by some dude in a black outfit. Red, sensing that this guy gives off bad vibes, makes him and Ash take cover. The guy then starts taunting Squirtle, saying that once they find Mew, he can't wait to work him down to the bone for flying into him. Of course, this doesn't sit right with Ash, as his buddy is basically being held against its will. Ash is unable to keep hiding as he thinks it's very cowardly, so he jumps out of the bush and goes to try and punch the guy. The grunt barely notices in time and he trips Ash and begins yelling at him for trying to punch him. Ash then begins to yell back at him to let go of his friend, and hearing this causes the grunt to get smug, telling the kid that if he beats him in a Pokemon battle, he'll give back his turtle. As the grunt pulls out a Nidorino, Ash goes to pull out a Pokeball. However, he quickly remembers that he has no other Pokemon. The grunt only starts to laugh as he realizes that Ash has no other Pokemon, so he still orders Nidorino to use Poison Needle. Just before the needles can hit Ash, an ember burns the needles. Red and his Charmander come out of the bushes, telling him to let go of Ash and the Squirtle. However, the grunt says he doesn't want to, as he's having so much fun. Red and the grunt then begin to have a battle. While at first Charmander seems to be leading this battle, the grunt then begins to get serious as Nidorino takes out Charmander and Nidoran. This throws Red and Ash into disbelief that they've actually lost, and this gives a big grin to the grunt's face. As he's telling them to hand over all their Poké and their Pokeballs, some stars come out of the tree line and hit the grunt's arm, causing him to let go of Squirtle, and when they turn to see where it came from, they see Misty and Starmie. She tells the boys to hurry up and get out of here quickly, so Ash scoops up Squirtle and they all start to run off. The grunt was about to chase after them, but another one shows up, telling him to stop as they've got some leads on Mew. Red, Ash, and Misty keep running until they can't run anymore, and when they stop to catch their breath, Misty finally asks what had happened. Neither of the boys respond to her at first until Red explains what happened, causing Ash to get upset, as he didn't want anybody else to know that it was his fault Squirtle almost got taken. Misty tells Ash that he should be more thankful she overheard them yelling earlier, and that she decided to help. Red does indeed thank her before telling Ash to get up as they've got to heal their Pokemon. The boys then run off to Viridian City with Misty yelling out if they knew who that guy was. However, this falls on deaf ears as the boys just keep running. Both boys just barely manage to arrive at the Pokemon Center by sundown. While Nurse Joy is healing their Pokemon, the twins decide to call their mom and Professor Oak. While talking to their mom, Ash is about to tell her about the guy they encountered, however Red covers his mouth and nervously laughs, telling her that they just had some trouble with a few wild Pokemon. When the call ends, Ash asks why he didn't tell her about him, and Red says that he didn't want her to worry. Shortly after this, Misty arrives at the Pokemon Center, asking the twins how their Pokemon are doing. Red replies that they're being treated by Nurse Joy, so hopefully everything will be alright. And Ash is the one to ask what she's doing here. Misty, kind of annoyed, tells him that someone had to tell the police about that guy. Plus, she's here to see how their Pokemon are doing and get a thank you from Ash. This causes Ash and Misty to get into a bit of an argument. However, it stopped when Nurse Joy comes out saying that their Pokemon are fully healed. Almost instantly after they get their Pokemon back, smoke fills the room. Team Rocket makes their first appearance. Once our trio sees the R on their chest, they realize that they must be friends with the guy from earlier. Not too long after, we break into 3 separate battles. Ash and Squirtle's battle with James and Coughing leads to the outside, while Red and Charmander's battle with Jesse and Ekans leads to the back of the Pokemon Center where the Pokemons are being transferred. Misty and Staryu battle Meowth in the waiting area. In Red's battle, he questions what they want with the legendary Pokemon Mew. However, Jessie angrily replies that she has no idea what the twerp's talking about. Over with Ash, he's having trouble as Coughing is floating too high up for Squirtle's water gun to reach it. Thankfully, Ash then remembers a move he saw on TV once. He has Squirtle use water gun on the floor, which causes Squirtle to go flying upwards. Squirtle then comes flying down, combining his tackle and water gun, which envelops it, creating some sort of water rocket. Squirtle hits Coughing and they come crashing down. When Coughing is recalled, it's revealed that they landed and shattered Misty's bike. Jessie then comes running out, dragging Meowth along with her, revealing that they both lost their fights, so they call down their balloon. However, before they can get too far, Red, Ash, Misty, and Nurse Joy with a bunch of Pikachus fire a combined attack, causing Team Rocket to blast off. This means the Pokemon Center isn't fully destroyed, however on the inside it is pretty much wrecked. After they celebrate their little win there, Misty realizes that her bike is in pieces. Misty of course gets upset, saying that she wants another bike. However, before this can turn into a full-on fight, Nurse Joy will be thanking them with a bunch of food and a place to stay. So that night, our trio spent the night in the Pokemon Center, and early in the morning, they head off to Viridian Forest. While walking through the forest, Misty points out a Caterpie, to which Ash immediately catches. Misty isn't very pleased about it, however Ash is over the moon and ignores anything Misty has to say. After a bit of walking, they encounter a Weedle that Red goes ahead and catches, to Misty's dismay. Later that night, Red tells Ash that he wants a 2-on-2 practice match before they go to sleep. This confuses Ash as he asks why, but Red just stays silent. Ash, not wanting to pass up an opportunity to show up his big brother, decides to accept this challenge with his usual cocky demeanor. Misty decides to be the referee, although very reluctantly. We start off with Ash's Caterpie versus Red's Weavile, and both of these Pokemon couldn't be more different personality-wise. Caterpie suffers from clumsiness and a lack of self-esteem, while Weedle is very aggressive and competitive. Caterpie actually takes quite the beating, as Weedle is the one leading this fight. As Weedle goes in to finish off Caterpie with a Poison Sting, Caterpie counters with a String Shot, covering it in string. He then goes in for a Tackle to send Weedle into the air, where it uses String Shot again to grab onto Weedle. Caterpie then begins to spin Weedle around in the air before slamming it into a tree. Red decides to forfeit the round and recalls Weedle. This makes Ash and Caterpie extremely happy, and Ash begins to gloat that he's the better trainer. Red tells him not to get too cocky, as they still have one more round to go. Ash tells Caterpie to watch this next battle as he sends out Squirtle, while Red brings out his Charmander. This battle pretty much plays out like the first one, with Squirtle eventually not listening to Ash, causing them to fail. Of course, Ash is upset that this ended in a tie, however, he knew that his Pokemon tried their best, and that's almost as good as winning. Red tells Ash that his Pokemon still have a bunch of personality issues that they gotta work through, but it's getting pretty late, and they gotta wake up early tomorrow, so they all go to sleep. However, Caterpie stays up watching some Butterfree fly across the night sky. Squirtle, Charmander, and Weedle all notice that he's still awake, so they go sit down next to him. Caterpie then reveals its desire to evolve into a strong Butterfree someday. However, it looks sad as it's not sure if it can do it. Squirtle and Charmander offer their full support as they believe in Caterpie, while Weedle just stays quiet. Early that morning, our trio head off, and because Ash doesn't try to catch a Weedle for himself, they miss out on the battle with Samurai. So early that afternoon, our trio arrive at Pewter City. And that's where we're going to be ending off the story for today. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I want to thank y'all for getting me to 20,000 subscribers. It means a lot to me, and I just wanted you guys to know that this video was originally supposed to come out the week that I actually hit 20,000 subscribers, but that week my computer decided to just fuck itself. So like I said in that one community post about 3 months ago, my hard drive ended up somehow getting corrupted during an update, and it made the entire hard drive just useless. This means that all my Adobe projects that I had on that hard drive are just gone. And that same day, I ordered new parts for a new computer because I might as well have just done it because the old computer was just kind of trash. and it took 3 weeks to get those parts in, and by the time I built my computer and everything, I had lost kind of motivation to do YouTube and stuff. I was still writing out scripts, but editing and recording just became kind of a hassle, so those 3 weeks became 3 months. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this what if. I really enjoyed writing it, and I do have some future plans for it, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. So leave a comment down below, and remember to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.